Greetings and welcome to this week's magical message. I pray you all have been having a really wonderful weekend, and you're really ready to get this week started off with some really positive energies and celebratory energies as well, because we're really coming to a place where you're getting a chance to actually step into and actually live out the experience of these manifestations, these goals that you've been working so hard towards. So this is a really powerful week. It's a week that really offers us the opportunity to see things through a different lens. And it also follows the theme that we've kind of been going with the last couple of weeks, where we are not putting this hardcore work and effort and energy into making something happen, but instead we are moving with a more feminine way of just flowing with the energies and allowing what comes to come, what leaves to leave, and being in a space where we are observing. We're allowing ourselves to rest. And that's what this card for our overview talks about with the Four of Knives. We are in a space where we are resting, and it's well-deserved. This is not like just being lazy, right? You've put in the work, so now it's time for you to sit back and see the work come together, okay? So again, this is a really powerful week because, again, you get to see it, you get to experience it, you get to actually step into it. You know, we were building up those energies, we were bringing these things into full manifestation. And so now this week, there are going to be some really big things that take place for us as we fully step into that role, right? It's kind of like if you're at work, you're up for a promotion, you're working really hard towards that promotion, it's coming. You've put in whatever information, documents, whatever you needed to put in. You've had your interview or whatever it is that you're needing to do for that next level, that next role, right? And so now it's like, okay, now we're sitting, we're waiting for that judgment comes, and now we're preparing to step into that role, right? Now we're actually in it. Now it's not just something that's coming, but it's here, okay? So that's what this week really has to offer us. Now, some of the negatives of this week, if you're in more of that shadowed energy, you may feel stuck. You may feel rushed. You may feel a little bit like or you may just not be getting anything done. Not that you're feeling like you're not getting anything done, because sometimes we can feel like that and we actually are. But this points more to not having those things done, right? Not putting in what needs to be put in. And so what you're experiencing can be a lot of delays. It can be losses. It can be miscommunication. It can be contracts and things falling apart. It can be things just not happening the way that you would desire them to happen, right? But if you're in the more light side, you are allowing things to flow. You are accepting what needs to be released. You're allowing for things to come in without trying to force anything. What you're going to find is that you are experiencing a great deal of wealth. Communication will be really good this week. You'll find yourself coming into more material wealth, as well as just the partnerships, the contracts that you're able to either close out that you've been working towards, or you get the contracts that you've been wanting, right? So really, really powerful week. We start the week off, in the beginning of the week, we have the grandchildren. And so this is the ancestors letting us know that everything is good. We have everything that we need and everything is going to turn out beautifully, even if we don't exactly see how yet, right? Sometimes right before that manifestation or that goal comes to be, you can go through what I like to call kind of like a dark period where it's really not clear, right? You're kind of uncertain. You can feel like there's this new space or this new energy that's coming in, or you can feel like something's up, right? But you're not exactly sure. Maybe you feel like you're in limbo. You're in between two different spaces and you feel like you need to get to that other side, and you're waiting, trying to figure out, okay, when is this coming? When is this happening? How am I doing this? But the grandchildren says, be still. Trust, be calm, know that everything is right and exact, just like it needs to be. And even if you don't see it yet, trust the process. Trust that you're held, you're protected. So anything that you're wanting to do in the beginning of the week, especially anything that you are divinely inspired to do, anything that you're passionate about, anything that really is driving you in ways that cause you to feel like you're thriving, for you to feel really passionate, very excited, very connected to yourself. Those are going to be the things that you put your focus into and trust in how they're going to move forward. Okay. Now, with the middle of the week, we have the Eight of Knives. The Eight of Knives talks about the removal of obstacles. You could also have been dealing with some kind of legal situation, and maybe you weren't sure how that was going to go. Well, that Eight of Knives is saying, hey, everything is going to be just fine, right? If you're dealing with contracts and things that you're needing to work out, know that those things are going to be fine. If you've been dealing with delays, if you have been dealing with things just not happening in the time frame, that you thought that they should, those things are going to not only, those obstacles are not only going to be removed, but you're also going to be shown why it was better for these things to happen this way. You're going to have a clearer sight, right? That new perspective, because this energy that's coming in is saying, hey, you know a lot. You have a lot of skills, a lot of ideas, a lot of goals, a lot of things that you're working towards. Let us help you put these things together. You don't have to know the whole part. And just because you feel like that should be the end goal, even if you feel like that is the answer, sometimes, right, what happens is we've built up so much energy, right? And we've had so much assistance from our ancestors, our guides, or living people that we don't even realize are really working in our favor, right? You'll have bigger things than you even imagine happening come into play. So expect for some really, what I just heard was dream big, right? So allow yourself to trust in this process, because what you're giving birth to is much bigger than you realize. Okay, so it's okay if you don't know all the answers as we move into the middle of this week, but as we move into the middle of the week, you're going to get what you're needing, right? The roads are going to be clear. You're going to know what you need to do. You're going to know what decision to make. So if you're needing to make a decision on something, wait, be still. That clarity that you're needing is going to come. Don't feel like you have to force it. Don't feel like you have to move on someone else's time, because when you do that and you're not clear, especially with these energies, you can end up messing yourself up. So make sure that you're taking the time and wait for the answer. Trust that that answer is coming. And that's what that Eight of Knives is telling us. Okay. With that Eight of Knives, there's also a lot of empowerment. So you are in a space where you're being lifted up, not just by the ancestors, but by yourself as well, by the actions and the things that you've put into place already. 9 times out of 10, you don't realize how far you've actually come, right? And it's normal, right? We get into the thick of things, we're moving through stuff, and we don't realize how much of ourselves have changed, how much we have actually accomplished, until we look at what we've given birth to and we're like, oh my God, where did this come from? Well, it came from you putting in that work. It came from you putting in the effort. It came from you being willing to sit still and not force it. It came from you being willing to listen and not talk, right? And so, again, really beautiful energy, really powerful energy. On the more negative side of this card, you may be feeling like you're stuck. You may be feeling like you have all these things coming up against you and no way out, right? There may be a lot of fear. Fear could be that obstacle that's gotten in the way of you making the decision. Well, if you're not in a space where you're allowing yourself to be still, to be silent, so that you can hear the guidance being given to you, so that you can catch the signs and the synchronicities, you might miss it, right? And it may only fuel that anxiety, that fear that you may be feeling inside. Okay. This may also be a situation where, and it may not be you, it could be someone who you know, but it could be that maybe someone is being held back for a reason. Maybe there's something there that you didn't see about this person, and they're not being able to move forward with you, right? Maybe there are some truths that are going to be coming out this week that are going to give you the clarity you need so that you can move on, right? Especially if this is about someone else's energy, kind of flowing on that more negative spectrum. So whether you are the one who is experiencing this Eight of Knives, or whether you're, and I should say the Eight of Knives in a more negative aspect, or it's someone outside of yourself, know that when you are willing to release and accept, whether you are accepting the responsibility for something that you need to take responsibility for, whether you are being put in a position to let go of the fear so that you can see, know that release is called here. If you're having, when we get into like Wednesday, that Thursday time period, when we get into there, if you are not feeling yourself on the highest vibrating frequencies of this card, then you need to look at what it is that you are not allowing to flow, because there is a blockage there, right? And the only thing that's holding that blockage at the end of the day is you. So make sure that you're taking the time to pay attention to that. And again, it may be that truth needs to come out. Maybe it's something that you need to say, right? And you not speaking on that truth is what's holding you back, right? Maybe it's something that someone else needs to say to you, or just period, that's holding them back, right? And so if you're witnessing someone going through that more negative aspect of this energy, something has to be taken care of here. There's something about the self that needs attention right there, okay? Now, as we look into the end of the week, we have the Two of Sticks and the Ten of Sticks. Travel, burdens are being lifted off of you, off of, I'm also feeling like family, so there are some shifts and some changes. There's some major decisions. There's some movement that's happening here, right? Again, with that flow. And so now it's like, as we move into the end of the week, it's like all of that build up. And at the end of the week, release, right? Now, this can be orgasmic release, because it's just pleasurable, it's wonderful, it's amazing, it's everything you've dreamed of. Or this could be on a more negative aspect where you are, you're having things being removed that maybe you didn't necessarily want to, especially if that Eight of Knives, if you were on this more shadowed aspect of that, especially the shadowed aspect where you are purposely being held back because you can't move forward. You don't need to move forward. You haven't put in the necessary pieces to move forward, right? But with this Two of Sticks, there's also, the sticks is the air, it's communication, it's the mind. So there's also a partnership, a coming together of ideas, like think of it like a meeting of the minds, basically. So you could be meeting with different partners, business partners. It could also talk about relationships, but this feels like it's more about meeting with, having conversation with the right people to help you to bridge yourself, or build a bridge for yourself from where you are and what you're moving into, right? And it may be something different, like this movement at the end of the week. You could find yourself all of a sudden having all of the clarity you needed, all of the pieces coming together, and bam, you're making a move that nobody expected, even you. Or maybe something that you didn't think was going to be able to happen, especially in a time frame, is happening, right? It's here, it's now. You're in a space where you are allowing yourself to be free, right? And not being limited because of those fears, especially, again, going back to the Eight of Knives, right? You've moved past that. And so this really is it's a powerful time for you moving forward. I was picking up the fact that something about writing, right, is going to be important, whether you're writing about, like, just journaling about your day, what you're moving through, or whether you are writing in terms of just expressing to yourself how grateful you are, how thankful you are for yourself, and really celebrating yourself and how far you've come, really bringing yourself into that full realization of where you are currently. Okay. Now, the Two of Sticks could also talk about deportation, being sent back, being removed out of a situation, right? And that's on the more negative aspect. So it still flows in line with that Eight of Knives on the negative side. So make sure that you're paying attention to what side that you're on. And this week, I feel like, if you have more of those positive experiences, you're going to have a positive experience this week, period, right? But if you find that you're having mostly those more negative experiences, there's some things that you missed along the way that are really going to need your attention, right? Because you're not going to be able to move forward from here. So there's also this energy of like stopping to smell the flowers. Like I literally just smelled flowers as I was looking at this 10 of Sticks card. So allowing yourself to be in the moment too, like really enjoy this time, enjoy this passage, enjoy the feeling of finally having had come out of the space. You are out of this space now, and now you have brand new to create in, right? You have brand new space, a brand new canvas, a brand new lifestyle. You have reached a lot of the goals that you've been working really hard for. And then too, there's also this energy of, it's going to be some stuff by the end of this week that you realize is not your business, is not for you to try to figure out or take care of. And you're going to let somebody else do it. Okay. It's going to be someone else's thing to do. You're going to be delegating responsibilities. You're going to say, hey, I'm not going to overburden myself with all of the stuff. I've been taking on too much. I've been doing too much. I need to chill out, right? I need to take this break. I deserve this break. And so you could find that is how you experience this 10 of Sticks. But really focusing on the self and what it is that the self needs. It's like this week you are kind of diving into, or we're kind of diving into this self-luxury kind of thing where you are really experiencing what it feels like to be at your peak. Not your only peak you'll ever have, but at a peak in your life, right? We'll put it that way, where you're really experiencing some of the most amazing things for you, because so often it is ourselves that we forget about, right? Even if we think we're focused on ourselves, right? Sometimes our focus or the areas that we're focused on are because of things we've experienced in the past, because of things that we're holding on to and we're not feeling ready to let go of. And so it kind of colors and helps to form what it is that we focus on as we move forward, even if we move forward feeling really good and empowered, right? This time, it is really about you. It's really, truly about you leveling up financially, materially, relationship-wise. It's about you digging in deep into this new space that you've come into, planting those roots and allowing yourself to really thrive. And how does that happen? By you letting go, by you allowing yourself to just flow with these energies. You cannot force this energy. Right? You're going to end up getting blown back. So do not try to force these energies. Allow them to move how they are meant to move. Trust in yourself. The biggest and the only reason that you're going to really have that anxiety this week is if you're not trusting. Actually, the biggest reason and really the only reason why you're going to be having that anxiety and the fear come up this week is if you are not trusting yourself. Trust yourself, right? Trust that what is happening, the moves that you're making, the decisions that you're making, or the time that you're taking to not make a decision, to not move forward immediately, is what is going to bring you everything that you need. So really trust that, okay? This is a really wonderful week to give birth to yourself in a new way. Give thanks. Make sure that you are remembering some of those values and those lessons that you've learned along the way, because they're going to help you to kind of rebuild or to build this new foundation in this new space, right? New lifestyle. And I keep picking up new lifestyle. So this could even be a situation where maybe you've gotten a new job as well, maybe, or some kind of thing around work, career, or you've moved to someplace completely different that allows for you to have a completely different lifestyle. But either way, know that you are right and exact. If you're on the shadowed end of this energy, you're not experiencing that right and exact feeling, know that you got to focus on you. It's something within you that needs attention. Okay. And that's what it's always going to be, but especially during this week. Okay. Make sure that you're focused on you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out. I hope that you all got something that you really were needing to receive. I hope that you got some clarity that you really needed. And that you utilize these energies to the very best of your ability. And that as we come into the end of the week, I pray everybody is celebrating. I pray everybody is relaxing, doing some self-care, kicking your feet up, enjoying and really being excited for this new you, for this new birthing that is taking place. Okay. So we're going to close out. Thank you all for listening. If you like this video, make sure that you like and subscribe, and we